Action. Well, I think that we all have like something that you base your life on, whether that's what your parents told you or what you read in social media, whatever. I think for us as Christians, obviously the most important place to go is the Bible, because it is the Word of God. So if you want to know how to live your life as a Christian and what God means when He means that you're a Christian, then for me it just makes sense to go to the Bible. And also it's just so relevant for, the time that we're in now. I think they're timeless words, they're eternal words, and they make as much sense now than they did when they were written. It's also so amazing when you get into it and you start seeing connections between the Old and the New Testament, and how prophecies are being fulfilled, and how God is just writing His story through loads of different people throughout the ages. I find it amazing and just fascinating, really, how every time you pick it up, you might read the same passage 50 times and you'll get something completely different every time you read it, because this is like instant access to the Word of God. Anytime you want to hear God's voice, all you have to do is open this book and you will. But also loads of people don't have access to this book or have to fight really hard to be able to read it, so I just feel really privileged that I can read it wherever and whenever I want. I think that the answer is in the question every day. It just is part of my everyday life, so I love reading it. I really like having a physical Bible, actually, because you can feel the pages, underline stuff, and somehow it just makes it easier to remember it, I find. But then I also make sure that I don't just read it, and I actually apply it to my life. And to do so, I have a journal, and generally what I do is when God speaks to me about something, or I find a passage particularly beautiful or that applies to my life, I'll just jot it down, and then I can go back to it when God reminds me of it. So it's just a really practical thing. I read it. I love starting my day by reading it, but also in the evening before bed, I just flip it open and see what God has to say to me. Well, like I said, I've got a physical Bible, and I actually got a new Bible for Christmas that I think looks very nice, so it makes me want to open it even more. But apart from a physical Bible, I think there's loads of tools you can use today. So I've got a Bible app on my phone, and it sends me a verse every morning, so I will look at the word anyway. And you can do like courses and look at different themes, do research. So I use a lot of this app. You also have a meditation app, so it's just this kind of thing where someone will repeat, maybe a Bible verse, and you just soak in that, and that really helps me. I also listen to the Bible a lot, so you can do that on the Bible app, or I use Streetlights. They're on Spotify and I think Apple Music. They're just online, and they lay down the Word of God on really cool hip hop tracks. So that's a good way of listening to it as well. And I listen, to podcasts and people that will talk about different themes and subjects. There's just so much that we can use to incorporate it as part of our everyday life. Well, the Bible is not just one book, but it's a series of books, or like different chapters of one book, if you want to see it like that. But there are parts I think that are maybe easier to understand at first, so I would say probably starting with the Gospels and the book of Acts would be a great place to start, because you'll get to really meet Jesus, what he did, and what it means to follow him. The book of Acts is people, like literally how their lives got changed by being with Jesus, and we just carry on, in our time now being these people. And I'd also say the book of Proverbs is amazing, because it's such practical advice on how to lead your life. And Psalms, just really love Psalms, because Psalms are songs and they're really real, you know. Whether you feel super happy or really sad and depressed or angry, Psalms will have something to tell you. So yeah, I'd say all of them are a good place to start. This is what they don't show you in the behind the scenes when your thing is overflowing and gross.